Oh, it's already going. All right. This is Noah back here going to do Denver Sports Talk for October 18th. I already tried to do this video once, but it downloaded in like 5 minutes, and normally it takes a couple hours. And I tried watching the preview, and it wasn't very. It was stopping. It was going to screw up. I figured it's done that to me twice before, so I'm just going ahead and try to redo this real quick before I went to work. I woke up real early to do this. Hopefully, we can get it done here. Big news yesterday was the trade of Brandon Llyod, and I'm going to say sorry if I say Brandon Marshall a couple of times through this video. I got my short-term memory, I guess you could say, hasn't been what it was back in the old days. But talk a little bit about the trade real quick. Traded Brandon Llyod to the St. Louis Rams for a sixth, possible fifth round draft pick. Not too happy with the trade. Fifth and sixth round draft picks, sorry, normally don't do very well. Most of the time, don't even make the team. See any field on any time on the field. So pretty much we gave Brandon Llyod away. We gave Jabbar Gaffney away earlier in the season, trading for that defensive lineman that I don't remember his name because he doesn't really see the field. Saw him in the preseason. He stepped in and did all right in a couple games. I think he had a sack in one of them, but hasn't seen the field. I haven't seen him on the field this regular season. So pretty much we gave Jabbar Gaffney a decent wide receiver away, and now we're traded our best wide receiver away, Brandon Llyod, to the St. Louis Rams for which will probably end up being nothing. Not too happy about it. Really sucks for Tim Tebow because now that he's getting his shot, you take his number one option away from the game. I don't know if they're trying to set him up to fail. If I just don't understand what they're doing. I'm going to be really interested to see the play calling that they have with Tim Tebow in the ball game this weekend against Miami. Hopefully, it'll be different, better than that what they've been doing with Kyle Orton, because you can't just have Tebow sit back in that pocket and train him to be something that he's not. He's a guy that plays good on his feet, plays good on the run, roll him out, run him, and now you take away his best wide receiver. It's going to suck for him, I think. Hopefully they keep that in mind when they evaluate him. I still think he'll be fine. I'm not really big on the high draft pick wide receivers. I think you can find them in free agency and late in drafts. It's starting to become more of a wide receiver game, so you might need to pick somebody a little higher than you used to. But still not too big on wide receivers. But it would be nice to have Brandon Llyod, Kansas City area kid, over where I'm from, so I always cheered for him a little bit. And I hope he has good luck in St. Louis. Go on. We're going to talk a little bit about what Denver has done in their fifth and sixth round draft picks. It was last couple of years. Brian Sanders has had 3 drafts since Mike Shanahan's left, and John Elway's just had this one, which we'll get into. I don't know. You got a general manager. He's supposed to be the one that's doing this, but the perception is that Elway's making all the decisions, and I don't know. That could be. I mean, that's what general managers like, is to get the heat off of themselves, which I'm going to put heat on Brian Sanders because he's a GM. I really don't know what he does. I haven't been really happy with him. I think you need to have a good GM and a good front office, and that's what's hurting the Broncos right now. But we'll go on to these draft picks. I'll probably go back to Sanders later. Definitely I'll have a whole episode one of these times trashing Brandon Sanders when I have all my information on it. This year in the 6th round, the Broncos took Mike Muhammad, a linebacker from California. Had a pretty decent preseason game in the last preseason game when Denver was getting their asses whipped by the Cardinals. Had a pretty decent game. Looked promising. On September 24th, we signed him to our practice squad. He is no longer listed on our practice squad, so He's probably not in the league, and that's what we did with our 6th-round draft pick. Would I have traded Brandon Llyod for Mike Muhammad? No. Last year, we had a pretty good 5th-round draft pick. Parrish Cox. I was really happy when we picked him. Living around here in Big 12 country, I knew a little bit about Parrish Cox, being at Oklahoma State. I liked him, liked the pick a lot. Thought he did pretty decent. Last year was picked on a little bit as a rookie, but that's expected when you're a rookie. Quite a, I mean, that's what people do is pick on the the cornerback with the least proven, I guess you can say, and that's what people did to Parrish Cox last year. But it didn't have a bad year for a rookie cornerback, I think, at all. Unfortunately, off the field problems, a supposed rape charge, which he's pled not guilty to. Um, Denver decided to part ways with him. Had a pretty decent preseason when he was with us. He had an interception in the Dallas preseason game. Almost ran into the house. I think he ran into like the 5 or somewhere around there. But Parrish Cox, though, has not landed with a team that I could find on the internet yesterday. No longer in the league. If you would ask me, would I trade Brandon Llyod for a Parrish Cox? I would be happy. I mean, I would be happy with that for a 5th-round draft pick. Hopefully, somebody with not off the field problems and a brain could would have been better. But would have liked to have Parrish Cox on the team this season, especially when Champ Bailey went down and we were running short on DBs for a couple weeks. Our 6th-round draft pick was Eric Olson. He played in 1 game. He's no longer on the Denver Broncos websites being on our team. Don't know if he's on a team. Couldn't find him anywhere. 6th-round draft pick. Would I trade Brandon Llyod for Eric Olson? No. 2009, 5th-round draft pick was Kenny McKinley, wide receiver, South Carolina. Got a little bit of playing time, special teams, and wide receivers for a little while. Unfortunate ending to his life as he decided to end it early. Tragic, but never really panned out in the NFL. When he came into the league, Steve Spurrier, his coach, said that he was one of the best wide receivers he ever coached. Showed a lot of promise, but it just never really turned into success on the NFL field, and no longer with the Broncos. That was our 5th-round draft pick in 2009. 6th-round draft pick was Tom Brandstatter, who was a 3rd-string quarterback with us for a little while. Got to play in some preseason games. He showed a little flair every once in a while, I guess you could say. But in the long run, he's never going to be anything more than a 3rd-string quarterback. I believe he's in St. Louis now. So McDaniels won't be the only person that Brandon Llyod knows when he goes to St. Louis, it looks like. Would I trade Brandon Llyod for Tom Brandstatter? No. 2008 was in the Mike Shanahan regime. Pretty decent draft. We had Ryan Terrain in the 5th round. Showing pretty good in Washington now. Had a couple games where he looked like he could be the man in Denver. Just always kept getting hurt. Not very successful. Carlton Powell was another 5th-round pick. Carlton who? Don't know. And Spencer Larson, he's been a pretty good Bronco for us for a 6th-round pick in 2008. Again, though, this is before our current regime was drafting. Spencer Larson was a good pick, played both sides of the ball for us for a while, and I think everybody likes Spencer Larson. I won't get back into this list any much more because, like I said, that was under the past regime, but it was pretty interesting to look at some of the old players. I mean, this thing goes all the way back until 1961, so pretty interesting to see. Going on, what do I want to go to next? We'll talk about what we have. Now it looks like Eric Decker will be our number 1 receiver. Kind of like Decker in the slot position. I think that's where he'll probably end up being most successful at. He'll be our number 1 receiver now. Eddie Royal be back into a slot where he probably is best at. Hasn't really shown too much since his first rookie year. Had a really good year. Um, Under the new regimes that he's played under, hasn't shown a lot. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, as Brandon Llyod was supposed to be a free agent at the end of the year. Would have rather kept Llyod over Royal since he was our number one man, but it's how things go. It sounds like Royal wants out of Denver, and I don't know what we're going to do there. Demaryius Thomas, last year's number one first draft pick by the Broncos. Hasn't done anything in the NFL. Showed a couple flares, I guess, every once in a while when he got to play last year, couple games. But had one good season in Georgia Tech. Was hurt when we drafted him. Was hurt when he came to training camp. Got into the games for a little bit. Got hurt again this preseason or off season, trying to get ready for this season. It's time for you to step up and be an everyday wide receiver. Time to put on the big boy pants. I don't have a whole lot of faith in you, to tell you the truth, because I haven't seen you on the field very often. Who knows how long it'll be until you break a nail or something. Not just, Achilles. You've had some injuries that are bad and stuff, but you have to be more durable and you have to be on the field. And you're going to have to step up and show some things now, or else you're going to be a first-round draft pick bust. So hopefully you come in there and you do pretty well if that's how it happens for Thomas. I would like to see Eron Riley get into some playing time. He had a nice little preseason for the Broncos. Him and Tebow caught up a lot. Good, really big speedster. Hopefully he will see a little bit of him, since it looks like that's all we're doing this year is looking to the future. I'd like to see him come in there and see what he can do. Besides that, I'm not too happy about the trade. Like I said, the odds are, even though we have had a couple 5th, 6th round draft picks that have turned out to be all right, the odds are they're not going to. The odds are they're not going to ever see the field. And I feel we gave him away. I feel we gave Gaffney away. We already were hurt at wide receiver earlier in the year because of injury. And we're not as deep as we once were when we had Gaffney and Llyod. It was one of our few bright spots on our team that we were actually strong at. It's not looking that way now. So we got youngsters. Thomas could end up, if he plays healthy, be really good. He's shown some highlights. Eric Decker, I think, is going to be great. Eddie Royal, I don't think he'll be a Bronco next year. We'll see. So I guess that's all that I got to say. It'll be really interesting to see how this affects Tebow in the offense now that Tebow's finally getting a shot. Pretty much, I think this just shows this might be another bad deal for the Broncos. And it's been the Broncos front office, like I said, that's making these decisions. I think it's Brian Sanders. If not, Brian Sanders doesn't do anything, and let's get rid of him. John Elway's taking the heat, but that's what a GM likes. Teams like Josh McDaniels got to hurry. Fans, they get on the head coach. They get on the coach a lot. I don't think it was as much as McDaniels' fault as everybody got on to him. I think it's Brian Sanders. McDaniels' big fault was getting rid of Mike Nolan as their defensive coordinators. They weren't able to work together. You got to have a really strong defensive coordinator, and that was a general manager's job to say, hey, this is our GM, this is our defensive player, this is how we're playing defense, and you're going to have to live with it. You need to have the checks and balances between coaches and the general managers. You can't just let the coach pick whoever the heck they want, because it never works. You have to have that check and balances. If we had that check and balances, Mike Shanahan still could be our coach today if we would have had a GM besides Mike that stepped up and got us a defensive coordinator. About out of time. Hopefully this loads up good, and I'll talk to you probably tomorrow. Later.